Part 47. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 461. Haha, don't worry, I know it in my heart. The best players are those who want to be the captain. This is normal. However, this captain is not so easy to be a captain. Boy, you have to show some real skills, otherwise you really can't be a captain. Our military department has always relied on strength. This is what Fang Ye wants. He smiled and nodded. Don't worry, I won't let you down. Boom. A powerful aura also burst out from Fang Ye's body. Sea-level Saitama. Looking at the energy burst out by Fang Ye, Wuxin was stunned for a moment. Did he get it right? This guy's talent turned out to be the most useless sea-level physique. As we all know, everyone who knows it, no need to say more. Sea-level is the most rubbish. From the perspective of talent, it is only a little better than ordinary people. Wuxin looked at the general aside in surprise, and the other two team members also looked weird. Haha, although Fang Ye's talent is not that great, don't underestimate him, he is very capable. The general smiled awkwardly. Indeed, thinking about it now, he found it incredible. This guy is obviously only sea-level, but his combat ability is so perverted. Haha, are you very capable? Then I'm curious about how capable you are. He smiled and nodded. You'll know if you try it. Fang Ye was not ambiguous at all. In the blink of an eye, he had appeared in front of the other party. What? So fast? Looking at this scene, Lu Lixin and Yan Quan couldn't help being slightly stunned. Even if they were looking at it from the perspective of bystanders, they couldn't react, let alone Wuxin. Sure enough, it was just as they imagined. Wuxin only felt his eyes dazzled, and he didn't realize what happened at all. He subconsciously raised his arm. But Fang Ye's fist had already hit his face. The huge force directly knocked him away. Am I a bit overwhelmed? Does this count as a sneak attack? After knocking the opponent away with one punch, Fang Ye couldn't help but smile lightly. There was no guilt on his expression. What's more, he was indeed not invincible. It can only be said that this guy was too careless. It has nothing to do with him. The blame should not be placed on him. The strength is also very strong. Is sea-level Saitama that powerful? Feeling the pain on his face, Wuxin frowned slightly at this moment. This person does have some abilities. You know, he is not only S-level, but also a top ghost swordsman. In addition, in the military department he has been training for so long. Needless to say about his strength. Talent and hard work have allowed him to have a place in the highly competitive military. Who would have thought that the man in front of him would surpass himself with just sea-level talent? In such a miserable state. Haha, yes, I do have some skills. Next, I will take it seriously. Wuxin's expression was solemn. After the confrontation just now, he basically understood the opponent's strength. Next, be careful. Is it? Then I'm here. After hearing what the other party said, Fang Ye nodded lightly. The corners of his mouth suddenly drew a strange arc. Then, he rushed out once. Come on, look at me. Wuxin snorted coldly. He was about to attack, but the next moment, he was horrified to find that he could not capture the opponent's position. I only felt a terrifying breath coming from the front. The strong wind mixed with energy made him stop thinking for a moment. He wasn't afraid, he was frightened. Boom. A deep voice sounded. This time, Wuxin flew out at once. Moreover, it was obviously more serious than before. The whole person fell directly onto the wall. Bastard, good boy, you really surprised me. Ghost Wushuan. As a master of the military department, and also an A-level player in terms of strength, Wushuan cannot be so weak. The next moment, his double swords burst out with a strong light. He rushed towards Fang Ye. The fierce confrontation between the two sides started. They got together. At this moment, even Fang Ye had to admit that this guy was indeed very powerful, and his reputation as a military commander was well deserved. It was not easy for him to be alive and well after being punched by himself. He was born to be beaten. Boom. Clang clang clang. In the blink of an eye, the two sides have fought for dozens of rounds. Every collision produced violent sparks. Looking at this scene, Lu Leixin and others on the side were dumbfounded. Is this true or false? What did you see? Wu Xian, a C-level college student from the academy, could fight like this against their A-level military strength. Moreover, he had the upper hand at the beginning. Is this true or false? If not seeing it with their own eyes, they couldn't imagine that all this was happening in front of them. It was simply unbelievable. Has this guy's strength become so abnormal? It seems that this time in the penalty area, his strength has increased again. The expression of the general on the side was also solemn. Fang Ye's strength was indeed very strong before. But it was not so outrageous. But now, Fang Ye's strength is obviously several levels higher than before. What a boy, this guy actually has a problem with me. Concealed. Am I really reading that right? Is this person so strong? Looking at the scene in front of him, Li Yuli's scalp was numb. No one expected such a result. The most important thing is that in the beginning of the round, Fang Ye used his terrifying speed to directly knock Wuxin away. Also, in other words, from the beginning of the battle to now, Wu Xian has been at a disadvantage. Even if he tried his best, he can only barely compete with Fang Ye. What makes them feel terrible is that as the battle time increases, the opponent it seemed that he was getting more energetic as he fought, but looking back at Wuxin, his whole condition took a turn for the worse. Hey, the military department is indeed worthy of its reputation. You can actually fight me to this point. You are indeed very capable. During the confrontation, Fang Ye still recognized the opponent's strength. This person is indeed a master. You know, Fang Ye didn't say he tried his best just now, but at least he dealt with it seriously. Every time, he could rely on he used his own speed and strength to crush the opponent. The opponent relied on experience to avoid it. Otherwise, Fang Ye would have defeated the opponent in the first few rounds of the battle. How is this possible? How can this guy be so strong? I don't believe it. I want to see how weird you can be. The other party's strength is indeed far beyond his imagination. Although Wu Xian doesn't want to admit it, it is the fact. This is a weird person. Dimensional chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mung Garden. Chapter 462. The next moment, Wuxin's momentum suddenly became much fiercer, and his movements became faster and faster, even changing into after images. Two big knives emit brilliant sparks. The power of this energy is not simple. He is worthy of being an S-class innate ability user and a ghost swordsman. Well-deserved reputation. Fang Ye frowned slightly and became serious again. The two sides once again started a fierce confrontation. This time Wuxin was obviously serious and showed his trump card. Every attack was powerful and majestic. His attacks hit Fang Ye from time to time, causing Fang Ye a burst of pain. With Fang Ye's terrifying defense power now, he would be hit and hurt by the opponent. Fang Ye himself didn't expect it. At this moment, he kept retreating and adjusting his angle, looking for the best suitable attack. Wuxin's speed is really fast, and his attacks are also very tricky. It's a pity that Fang Ye has never been afraid of anyone in terms of speed. He chooses every time, and seems to avoid the opponent's attack and stay away from a certain distance. In this way it only took a few rounds of chasing each other. The next moment, Fang Ye's eyes were cold, and he seized the opportunity and rushed forward. Boom! It was ordinary and without any bells and whistles, just a precise punch on Wu Xian's face. It was this punch. Wu Xian, who was still attacking frantically, was knocked back dozens of meters and hit the wall hard. Fang Ye showed no mercy and pursued the victory. He rushed in front of the opponent at an extremely fast speed, and his fists fell on the opponent like raindrops. Screams could not be heard. Lu Leixin and Yan Quan on the side frowned slightly. The master of the military department was beaten by a people from the academy have been beaten to such an extent. It's a bit unsightly to spread like this. Fang Ye's strength is indeed beyond their imagination. His attack power, speed, and defense ability are top-notch. Is this guy really from the academy? Is his talent really only sea level? Lu Leixin frowned slightly, still unable to believe that all this is true. The strength and talent shown by Fang Ye can be called S-level. I told you before that this guy is a bit unusual, now you believe it, right? If you think of it as an ordinary academy genius, you are totally wrong. The general said speechlessly. In fact, he was also very depressed at this moment. Before the battle started, he did not believe that Fang Ye could beat Wu Xian. The fact happened like this. It was almost a one-sided crushing. Although everyone fought at the beginning of the battle, there was back and forth, seemingly no distinction between top and bottom. But anyone with a discerning eye could see it. This was a unilateral crushing. In front of Fang Ye, Wu Xian had no power to resist at all. All his resistance was just a desperate struggle. Facts have proved indeed. Lu Leixin and others looked solemn, and now they did not dare to underestimate Fang Ye anymore. This genius who came out of the academy was unusual and weird. No one would have thought that a person with only sea-level abilities would chase after S. This person with super ability talent was beaten without mercy. If this news spreads, it will definitely cause a sensation. The battle is still going on. This time Fang Ye showed no mercy. He waved his fists wildly at the opponent. Surrender quickly, you can't hold on anymore, there's no point in fighting like this. Seeing that the other party was still struggling and never let go, Fang Ye frowned slightly. Why is this guy so tough? If you can't beat him, you can't beat him. Why are you holding on? Fang Ye thought so in his heart, but it didn't fall for a moment, and it even got heavier and heavier. If you have the ability, just keep on letting me go. Enough is enough. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Fang Ye, you have proven yourself. Yan Quan couldn't stand it anymore and quickly stopped him. He didn't let go because of his inner dignity. This is also the dignity of the military. From his heart, he didn't want to believe the fact that he was actually raped by a so-called genius from the academy. Defeated. But the situation at the moment did not allow Wu Xian to persist like this. Helpless, Yan Quan could only speak to stop him. Hearing Yan Quan's words, Fang Ye raised his eyebrows slightly. Considering that this guy was the captain of the three, there was no further fighting. Wu Xian fell to the ground and was dying. Now that the winner has been decided, it should be clear who is the captain, right? In my team, there has never been a vice-captain, there can only be one captain. I hope everyone can understand. I'll give you some time to prepare and heal this guy's injury. We'll meet again tomorrow. I hope you can adjust your mentality and not be affected by this and affect your next plans. I have already told these people what I am capable of with my fists. So Fang Ye was no longer polite and spoke with a hint of warning. This is not because Fang Ye wanted to hold a cup. It was actually because everyone in the military department was too arrogant. Look down on people outside. If they don't show some thunder skills, they will not think highly of themselves from the bottom of their hearts. Hearing Fang Ye's words, Lu Leixin and others were stunned for a moment. This guy is not ordinary arrogant. Just after defeating Wu Xian, he started to glare at them and lectured them in the tone of a captain. Considering Fang Ye's strength, Yan Quan frowned slightly and said nothing more. He carried Wu Xian on his back and walked towards the medical room. Lu Leixin took a deep look at Fang Ye and followed him. This farce was finally over. The ownership of the captain's rights now belongs to Fang Ye. You are quite courageous, and you gave them power as soon as you arrived. It seems that I underestimated you after all. The general always thought that he underestimated Fang Ye very much, but he didn't expect that he still underestimated him in the end. This person can always surprise others in unexpected situations. But the more this happens, the happier he feels in his heart. At least this proves after that, the success rate of this team going to the 10th penalty area will be higher. It's just a fluke. Wu Xian's strength is very strong, he is worthy of being an S-level talent user. I can't compare to him in terms of energy and agility. I'm only slightly better in speed and strength, that's all. Fang Ye said with an indifferent shrug. The flower seemed a bit objective, but for some reason the general always felt strange. Haha, you kid, stop hiding from me and tell me the truth. You must have gained a lot of treasures in the 10th restricted area, and your strength has increased significantly. Don't think I can't tell. You still dare to hide something when you are cooperating with our military department. Young man, I don't know whether to say that you are not guilty of ignorance or that you are born with courage. The general's majesty slowly appeared on his face. For a moment, that serious temperament permeated Fang Ye. Unfortunately, Fang Ye was not scared. He shrugged indifferently. What can I hide? I was lucky enough to improve my strength inside. If I really completed my mission, would I have escaped in such a mess? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 463. It's a joke, it's not fun to talk about this kind of thing. If something is really discovered by then, the other party may be used as a guinea pig for study. Fang Ye knows very well, even though he seems to have a lot of cards now. These things are far from enough for the military department. When it's time to be vulgar, be vulgar. Don't think that you are so powerful that you can make the military fearful. Perhaps it was because Fang Ye's expression was in place when he spoke. The tone is very precise. The general looked at Fang Ye and frowned slightly, but he didn't say anything more. Okay, let's first tell me about the situation with the God's agents. Which city did they occupy? Actually, it only took an hour for Fang Ye to enter Diablo. But after understanding the opponent's strength, Fang Ye understood that it was not that simple. This matter needs to be understood in depth. There are not many important cities they occupy now, only one. Others are also insignificant small cities, which should be used to build defense bases. Want to fight a long war with us? These words made Fang Ye stunned for a moment. Why not attack them directly? We can't wait until they have truly formed a fighting force. This is somewhat nonsense. The power currently displayed by the God's Agent headquarters is absolutely terrifying. Let them develop, let's not say whether they can become as large as the military department. But by that time, the military department will definitely having one more real enemy is not a good thing. The problem is, the areas they are in now are the most dangerous areas. Our military personnel can't take the initiative, and it's not me who has the final say in this matter. It would be difficult to launch a full-scale attack against them. The general sighed. He has been handling this matter. This task was assigned to him by the commander above. In fact, the general understood the pros and cons. After this period of understanding, he naturally discovered the power of God's agent, however, is obviously not enough. The coach's task is still to control the overall situation. Monitor some important restricted areas. And forces like God's agent can only be left to them to complete. In other words, the current situation is rather strange. The general is very aware of the power of God's agents. However, this matter has not been able to rise to the top, resulting in insufficient attention. The general can only watch all this happen. Use all your strength to limit. Don't worry about it now. I won't be able to control this kind of thing later. The most urgent thing is to solve the matter in the 10th restricted area first. If occupying this 10th restricted area is equivalent to breaking the opponent's conspiracy. Fang Ye nodded. That's all that can be done now. This time I only took 1 day to rest. Wu Xian, who was originally defeated by Fang Ye, has also returned to his best condition. As Fang Ye came over, the atmosphere between the two sides was tense. The time was a bit awkward. For Wu Xian and others, yesterday's scene left a deep impression. Originally, they thought he was just a college genius with good talent. Now it seems that he was simply mistaken. Of course, no one would have thought that a C-level Saitama actually has such explosive power. Especially Li Yulixin. After discovering Fang Ye's terrifying speed and strength, she immediately went to find relevant information about Saitama. At that time, he saw Fang Ye use the fire element. If she remembered correctly, it was impossible for Saitama with a C-level physique to have such a good thing. As expected, she searched from the database in the military department. She still didn't find Saitama. What's so special about being a C-level? It seems that this problem should be hidden in Fang Ye. It's a good rest. Although this is our first time working together, I still hope that everyone can unite. No matter what, this time, we are for the whole world and for our safety. We are not fighting alone, behind us are thousands of families. No matter what the quarrel between the two parties was yesterday. It doesn't matter what the atmosphere is now. Completing the task is their common consensus now. Fang Ye's words surprised everyone. This guy looks much more normal now than before. They were really arrogant yesterday. As members of the military, they are naturally not so narrow-minded. They nodded heartily. Okay, I'll just listen to your command this time and let you decide. We will cooperate with your actions. Things have reached this point, and there is no point in saying anything more. Completing the task is the first thing they should do. Everyone, this is probably the last time we will open the forbidden space for you. We have consumed too much energy in this 10th forbidden area. The general who had arranged everything also came over. He said with a solemn face. After hearing this, everyone nodded slightly. The eyes of Lu Leixin and others were even more determined. They seemed to be looking at death as if they were home. Those who looked aside, Fang Ye was stunned. If you want to die, don't take me with you. I'm a systematic person. I don't want to die with the other party. I'll lose a lot of money by then. Okay, without further ado, let's go. I don't know what the situation is inside now. Fang Ye's heart sank. He ran out first at that time. Only Tyrell and the others were left struggling to support themselves. As an archangel, they are also the ones with the highest combat effectiveness among Diablos. Needless to say, their strength is not to mention. What's more, this time the whole army of angels was dispatched. But thinking of the abyss furnace, Fang Ye was a little unsure again. The strength of the gods' agents is very strong. In addition, with the source constant supply of dark power. Now the crystal arch is sealed. The real situation is unknown. I just hope everything is okay inside. Fang Ye and others set off quickly. Travel through forbidden space. Once I came to the world of Diablo. This is Fang Ye's second time here, and it's different from the first time. Nowadays, things have changed drastically. Lu Leixin and others on the side looked at the scene in front of them and felt even more frightened. Darkness, endless darkness. In this darkness are ruins. Under the ruins, the body of the angel was hidden. And a large number of ordinary lives? Just thrown away like garbage. Rumble. A thunderous explosion sounded, breaking Fanya and others' thoughts. Go, go, look, the battle in the sky is still going on, we have to hurry. The scene in front of me is too terrifying, even frightening. It's hard to imagine what happened to this place during Fanya's absence. Dimensional chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 464. There's no point in struggling. Do you still want to wait for that coward to come in and save you? That's ridiculous. He can't get in. If you are sensible, just hand over the crystal sacred arch yourself, and I can make you die quickly. Otherwise, your entire angel family will be drowned in fear forever. The man in black trampled Tyrell under his feet. It is unimaginable. Archangel Tyrell, a man who has gone through many hardships to become an immortal existence. At this moment, he was trampled under the feet of an outsider. And the other angels are also dead and injured at this moment. You, don't even think about it, I believe he will come back, if you have the ability, just kill me. The other party's words did not make Tyrell give in. For angels, death is not terrible. At this moment, they have persisted for 3 days. On the first day, facing the opponent's attack, their angels could still hold on. But as the power continued to be consumed, the casualties began to show on the second day. Until the third day now, the abyss furnace continued to exude power. And their crystal holy arch was actually sealed by the opponent. This resulted in the angel's power being unable to reach its maximum extent. Play. Moreover, the two men in black in front of me are very strong. How long do you think you can keep your mouth shut? Haha, is this the inviolable angel? Is this the belief of this world? Haven't you been stepped on by me now? How ridiculous. The man in black mocked unceremoniously. Since you don't tell the whereabouts of the crystal arch, well, go to hell, I can always find it. The man in black seemed to understand that this guy would not speak easily. He was too lazy to talk too much about this guy. Then, he stepped down hard. At this critical moment, a rolling thunder came with a raging force. Stop it! The voice had just fallen. However, a figure had already appeared in front of the man in black. Even though the man in black reacted quickly, looking at Fanya who was suddenly so close at this moment, he was still stunned for a moment subconsciously. This guy, how did it suddenly appear under physical conditions? The so-called physics does not use the so-called time travel. Instead, it rushes over from a distance with speed. Boom. Fanya was not interested in listening to the confusion in the other party's heart. He punched the other party directly on the head. The man in black had no reaction and was knocked away with the punch. Even his mask was missing. Broken apart. This sudden scene startled the companions around the man in black. But the other party reacted quickly and punched out. Fanya was still calm, and he gave the same simple punch. Boom. At this moment, the world shook violently. Under the different eyes of everyone, the two of them flew out at the same time. At this moment, Fanya also quickly pulled Tyrell over and came to a relatively safe position. The two sides faced off again. It's okay. Looking at the dying Tyrell in front of him and the other angels who were seriously injured and lying on the ground, Fanya frowned slightly. He had only been out for 2 or 3 days. Who would have thought that in just 2 or 3 days, here it has become like this? A river of blood. You are finally here, and I always believe that you will come back, although I don't know what method you will use. Tyrell's eyes were full of relief. Stop talking, leave the rest of the battle to me, and let me meet him for a while. Fanya sighed. Fortunately, Tyrell is not dead. As the master of this world, if Tyrell dies, the situation will be terrible. Fang Ye still has to rely on the power of this old guy. Fortunately, all the hard work was not in vain, and I finally caught up. Just when Fang Ye rescued the person, Lu Leixin and others behind him finally arrived belatedly. Captain Fang Ye, your speed is too fast. Everyone looked at Fang Ye with helpless eyes. They didn't even understand what happened just now. Fang Ye had already rushed out. This was something they didn't expect. This speed was not ordinary terrifying. Wu Xian is also now I finally understood a cruel fact. That is, I was not unjustly defeated. Fang Ye was much stronger than I thought. If this guy had been serious at that time, whether he could get up now would be a problem. The enemy is now, be careful, these two guys are not simple. Fang Ye said in a deep voice. Even though his strength has been greatly improved now, and with the reinforcements around him, he also felt a lot of pressure when facing the two men in black. Boy, I didn't expect you to be so weird. Morandi looked at this guy with a gloomy face. He used 6 levels of strength in this punch just now. And don't forget, this is also coupled with the power of the Abyss Furnace. Not to mention his own strength. Stronger than the opponent. As a result, the opponent's simple punch just now could actually compete with him. This made him never expect. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. No matter how many reinforcements you find today, Fang Ye, you're dead. The man who was beaten by Fang Ye also flew over. There was a murderous intent in his eyes when he looked at Fang Ye. Under the cracked mask, there was a terrifying face. There was no flesh on this face, it was dry. It looked like a zombie. It gave people a feeling of chills in their hearts. At this moment, Lu Leixin and others also noticed the mark on the other party, and they couldn't help but feel horrified. It's the two of them, no wonder you are no match. Hearing Lu Leixin's words, Fang Ye was slightly surprised and asked strangely. It seems you know them. Who are they? Although Fang Ye has dealt with the agents of God several times, they were only limited to some small minions. The two people in front of him were obviously more powerful. It's not that simple. It seems that this time he has indeed met his opponent. Lu Leixin said with a heavy heart. Notice the badges on their arms. That's the Guardian badge. God's agent is very particular about this thing, that is to say, the person in front of you is the protector. After hearing this, Fang Ye quickly looked around. On the other person's arm was a moon symbol. This moon was silver. Although he didn't know what it represented, it looked really not simple. Fang Ye still didn't understand it. What is Dharma Protector? How powerful is it inside the headquarters of God's agent? He really doesn't know this yet, but looking at the solemn expressions of Lu Leixin and the others, Fang Ye knows that there is probably something very particular about it. Let me tell you this, according to the information we have received, the status of the Dharma Protector among the agents of the gods is that one person is inferior to 10,000 people. As soon as these words came out, even Fang Ye couldn't help being shocked. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 465. One person is inferior to 10,000 people. No wonder this is the 10th restricted area. It's quite normal to say so. It's not that complicated in itself. Fang Ye vaguely remembered that the general told him before that the most powerful leader of the gods' agents was the gods. Same as the military. God is the leader, the pioneer. Under the gods are the protectors. One can imagine. How high is the status of the Dharma Protector among the agents of gods? This is an undoubted fact and irrefutable. No wonder they are so strong, even I am no match for them. For the first time, Fang Ye felt that he was under great pressure. With Saitama's physique, his combat power and speed were at full capacity. But he was easily crushed by the opponent. This was not only because the opponent had such a big weapon as the Abyss Furnace. A killing weapon. At the same time, it is also inseparable from the opponent's own tough strength. What's more, Fang Ye's strength has also been greatly improved in this confrontation with the opponent. Under such circumstances, it is unworthy and can only be fought with the other party barely resisted. He is worthy of being the protector of God's agent, and his reputation is well deserved. This time it was more abrupt. Fang Ye nodded lightly and looked ahead. The eyes of the two men in black became more and more solemn. There will be a tough battle next. I will deal with one person and leave the remaining one to you. Fang Ye rushed out without saying a word, and the battle began. Looking at Wu Xian and others, they couldn't help but be stunned. Has this guy always been so brave? Or they didn't explain the problem clearly just now. The other party is the protector of the God's agent. The so-called protector, he is the right-hand man of God. Can he do it, Captain? What should we do now? Wuxin couldn't help but look at the seemingly honest man beside him with a wry smile. Although Fang Fangyi is now their captain in name, in their minds, their real captain is still Yan Quan beside them. This is a life and death partner with them. Longtime brothers. Fang Ye is an outsider at best. He only gained their recognition with his strength. From the inside, they naturally won't listen to Fang Ye. It's a joke, no matter how strong you are just an academy genius. How can it be compared with our military department? Let's do what he said first. He is familiar with this place and knows more about it than we do. I don't think he is someone who is eager to win. He should have his own plans. The battle between the two sides began. In front of Fang Ye, there was the man in black whose mask was shattered. How does this feel? Fang Ye looked at the other party with a sneer. Good boy, I didn't expect you to be so brave. In that case, don't leave today. Roar. The other party suddenly spurted out black energy light from his mouth, covering Fang Ye instantly. When the dark light disappeared, Fang Ye could barely avoid the attack. Looking at this scene, the man in black seemed unwilling to give in, and fired several light energy in succession again. There was no surprise at all. With his speed, Fang Ye managed to dodge without any danger. The opponent's attack seemed fierce, but it never hit Fang Ye. There seems to be a hint of a mage in your energy. After several fights, Fang Ye gradually felt something was wrong. The opponent's power is very violent. Under this violent power, it is also very lethal. Now with the blessing of the Abyss Furnace, this feeling is even more obvious. As far as the entire world is concerned, there is very little mage physique, the so-called magic energy. The system everyone chooses will start from the weakest foundation. Absorb energy and become stronger step by step. There is only one kind of person who can reach the peak from the very beginning and distance himself from others in an instant. That is the mage Kakarin. While others are still working hard to enhance their own strength, Kaki Long is already able to do it. As long as there are magic secrets, they can copy them step by step. Release powerful energy. Directly reach the peak of strength. On the surface, Wizard Kakarin is S-class. But in fact, everyone who understands that for this kind of perverted ability, as long as anyone can get the approval of the mage Kaki Long, you can become a god instantly. There are not too many uncertainties and unknown factors. Other humans thrive by relying on later training, and there is a risk of falling. Mage Kaki Long does not need to worry about this and can directly become an elite member. One can imagine. Even among S levels, there are differences in physique. Everyone who knows it knows the mage card, and its dragon has already surpassed S level in terms of comprehensive evaluation. On top of the entire world right now, there are only 3 people in total who can be recognized by Master Kaki Long. One of them is inside the military headquarters. It was that genius girl. Now he is being raised as a treasure within the military headquarters. There is another person who traveled to the mainland and disappeared. I don't know whether he is dead or alive. It is said that he entered the 10th restricted area and never came out again. One of them seemed to have joined an organization and disappeared. If Fang Ye's guess is correct, that's the person in front of him. It turns out that my reputation has spread throughout the world, and there are still people who remember me. Yes, I am Dallas. Dayers readily admitted this fact. If it weren't for Fang Ye's reminder, he might have forgotten that he is the supreme and powerful mage with a cocky dragon physique. I've admired your name for a long time, but I didn't expect you to join the God's agents. It's not that the name is so famous. It's just because the other person is one of 3 people in the world, that's all. It's good to know my name. I'm in a good mood today. Let me show you what a real dark storm is. You will not suffer any loss if you die in my hands. Dals began to cast spells with both hands, and an energy storm swept through their field. The dark energy storm was like a sharp blade, tearing apart the surrounding space. This was a 2-dimensional storm. Above this storm, there were countless thunders surge. Looking carefully, it turned out to be black thunder. The energy storm was like the devil coming to the world. Fang Ye stood in front of him, as weak as an ant. Soon the energy storm swallowed up Fang Ye's entire body. This kid can't stand it anymore. Looking at this scene, Lu Leixin frowned. No matter what, Fang Ye can be considered their partner. If they are really killed by the opponent with one blow, their situation will be even worse. They enter the 10th restricted area and have only this last chance. Now, the situation is serious. Don't worry about him for now. I believe he can deal with it on his own. Let's deal with the immediate trouble first. Yan Quan said lightly. He looked at the man in black in front of him with an equally solemn expression. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 466. This man is more troublesome than they thought. Is it possible that you 3-legged cats want to deal with me just because of your skills? Let me show you my new ability. I have been looking forward to this move for a long time. The man in black, who was not far away from Yan Quan, smiled faintly. He only saw behind him, and a space door opened out of thin air. Huge monsters appeared out of thin air. The other side was the same large one. Monsters and legions are coming in an endless stream. In just a few moments, there are already dozens of huge monsters. And with this ability, brothers come to life and end the battle as quickly as possible. Fang Ye, who was swept by the dark storm on the other side, has disappeared. But at this moment, Dals's face is not very pretty. What happened? Couldn't an attack of this intensity defeat him? Dals clearly felt that within the dark storm, Fang Ye's vitality increased instead of decreasing. This was a very strange phenomenon. After a few minutes, the energy storm seemed to have nothing to destroy, and it seemed that its position was extremely embarrassing. It gradually dissipated. Fang Ye's body is upright and perseverant. He looks at this guy calmly. Is this what you are capable of? Then it's my turn. Fang Ye sneered, and then appeared in front of the opponent in the blink of an eye. A set of combination punches hit the opponent's face. With high speed and explosion, Fang Ye quickly gained the upper hand and knocked the opponent out. His nose and face were bruised and swollen. There was no trace of a protector. Seeing this scene, Fang Ye took advantage of the victory and pursued it. His fists were like meteor showers, hitting the vital parts of the opponent's body. In just a few breaths, Dals had been beaten. Fang Ye's fists were so hard that they started to soften. His body didn't seem to be damaged, but the bones inside had been shattered. It turns out that this is all the protection of the God's agents is capable of. It's really disappointing, and in that case, you can go die. Fang Ye sneered and then grabbed the other person's head with his big hand, trying to destroy the last and hardest part. At this critical moment, Dal suddenly raised his head at an incredible angle. The other person's expression was indifferent, he didn't feel anything because his limbs and bones were smashed to pieces by Fang Ye. I forgot to tell you, now I am not just a mage. While Fang Ye was stunned, the opponent's body began to recover without any warning. Then he kicked Fang Ye away. What? How is this possible? What ability is this? Is it immortal? Fang Ye's eyes were full of surprise. There is no immortality in the world. He didn't believe this. But the scene before him did make him feel a little bit dead. Come on, I know your speed and strength are very strong. If you want to give it a try, I can be reborn a few times. Fang Ye rushed forward again without saying a word. Another set of fierce and powerful combination punches were swept at the opponent. As expected, it didn't take long for the opponent to start miraculous recovery again, and even every time he recovered more powerful than before. Now it was Fang Ye's turn to be dumbfounded. How could this be? What kind of monster it is? How could you have this ability? This is far beyond the understanding of ordinary people. At least Fang Ye can't believe that he has such ability in this world. Even Fang Ye with Saitama's physique is already very abnormal. But if he encounters someone who is stronger than himself, if there are too many people, Fang Ye will still be in danger. And the immortal battle in front of him makes him feel a deep sense of powerlessness. This is our divine agent. Young people, there are many secrets in this world that you cannot understand. Trying to deal with us is simply a fantasy. I personally experienced how powerful the opponent was. The pressure on Fang Ye increased. The good news is that during the fight with the opponent, his strength was also constantly increasing. The two sides fought for more than 100 rounds. At this moment, Dal's body has evolved 10 times. His body was even covered with a black armor visible to the naked eye. It looked extremely weird. I didn't expect that you also have this magical ability. Seeing Fang Ye getting stronger and stronger, Dals couldn't help but look at the opponent in surprise. The opponent's power seemed to be endless. In these more than 100 rounds of confrontation, the space had been torn apart by them several times. Always. There is no difference between victory and defeat. If the fight continues like this, there will be no result even if the fight lasts forever. What makes Fang Ye feel relieved at this moment is that the front on Wuxin's side has not been affected much. The other three rely on their own strong strength, even faintly suppressing the enemy to fight. However, if the current situation is not dealt with, the consequences will be disastrous. Don't forget that the opponent also has the Abyss Furnace. We can't continue to fight like this. The opponent's power is endless, and they will eventually fall into a disadvantage. What should I do? It was another fierce collision. Suddenly, Fang Ye couldn't help but look into the distance. Wu Xian and others who were still in the upper hand were knocked back by the opponent with one blow. Are you kidding me? You are still distracted while fighting me. Daers was greatly annoyed. He suddenly increased the strength in his hands and knocked Fang Ye back. His whole body hit the ground hard, forming a huge pit. If this continues, the consequences will be disastrous. What should I do? Fang Ye's eyes were worried. At this moment, Tyrell, who was dying next to him, got up with difficulty. There is only one way to defeat the opponent, and that is to restart the Crystal Arch. Fang Ye, this can only be done by you. Fang Ye smiled bitterly, his eyes filled with helplessness. Now that the Crystal Holy Arch has been sealed by the opponent, what can we do to remove it? What the other party uses is magical power, and I can't control it at all. This is Fang Ye's only drawback at the moment. During battle, he can rely on the system to obtain various abilities. And these abilities only increase his attack power based on Fang Ye's strength and speed, that's all. He doesn't have like a mage, he can flexibly apply magic to many fields. His conventional fighting methods can only rely on speed and strength. There is also training when fighting enemies. Other than that, there is no other shortcut. I discovered the power of angels in your body. If I guessed correctly, you should have obtained the ancient rough stone, the heart of angel promise. Hearing this, Fang Ye couldn't help but be stunned. At this moment, he suddenly realized. He had passed the 10th restricted area and completed the tasks assigned by the system, and received a gold rating. There seemed to be an angel's promise in this reward. It's just that Fang Ye didn't know how to use this power at that time. So it was delayed. Maybe things really turned around. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mung Garden. Chapter 467. The angelic power within you is the key to breaking the seal. Tyrell held Fang Ye's hand tightly and said seriously. What should I do? Fang Ye nodded. Use your strength and courage to influence the angel's heart. The angel's heart has spiritual intelligence and has some relationship with the abyss furnace. Bring the crystal arch to the abyss furnace, feel the other party's power, and inspire the angel's heart to lift the seal. Tyrell then placed a crystal gem that seemed to be covered in dust in front of Fang Ye and handed it over. Before the crystal gem was gone, the shining light seemed a little dim. Above it was a strange the pattern sealed the gem, and the trajectory on the pattern was moon-shaped. It was clearly the spell cast by the agent of the gods. Is that so? Fang Ye carefully took the crystal arch. He kept recalling in his mind Tyrell's words just now, which was to bring the crystal arch to the abyss furnace to stimulate some inner connection between them to achieve the effect of deducting the seal. It seems very complicated, but in fact, as long as you get close to the abyss furnace, you can stimulate this connection, and finally break through it with the help of the crystal arch. But this is also dangerous. The abyss furnace is full of dark power. As long as Darth is willing, he can blow the abyss furnace at any time to launch an attack, causing a violent storm of damage to the opponent. Therefore, he only has one chance. And this time he has to find it by himself. Young man, the hope of the entire continent rests on you. I hope you can save us and lead our people out of trouble. The three-dimensional situation between angels, demons, and humans will change today, and it's up to you to rewrite history. History will not change. Evil will never defeat good. Fang Ye has always firmly believed in this. Even now the devil has an absolute advantage. He is also full of confidence in his heart. Don't worry, leave it to me and see what I do next. Fang Ye slowly stood up and came to the front of Dal's. Looking at the crystal holy arch in the opponent's hand, Dal's face couldn't help but become a little gloomy and a little more greedy. According to legend, as long as the abyss furnace and the crystal holy arch are combined, when the forces are combined together, the power of a black hole can explode. Once that time comes, the entire world will be swallowed up, and no one in it will be spared. This is definitely a terrible thing. Think about the place where humans depend on for survival, in a certain place. In a restricted area, a mysterious black hole suddenly appeared. When this mysterious black hole absorbed all the matter in the 10th restricted area, it would be impossible for human beings to survive. No matter how powerful human beings are, they cannot compete with the power of the universe. Then, thinking of this, Dal's eyes became even hotter unconsciously. This is the purpose of their divine agents, to destroy the entire world and perform a major reshuffle. The strong ones are the ones who can survive in the end. Boy, hand this thing over to me. Dares almost roared. Do you want to? Then come over. Fang Ye smiled faintly. Don't think you can escape today, let me show you my ultimate power. The devil evolves. Dares roared angrily, only to see that his entire body had changed, and the original black robe evaporated at this moment. The ugly appearance of the whole person was displayed in front of everyone. This was a demon-like creature, to some extent on the surface, he is no longer a human being. The organs on the opponent's body look very scary when exposed. Moreover, these organs have condensed. A dark red energy enveloped Dal's, and only within the dark red energy, Dal's body could be seen. The size and speed visible to the naked eye have increased. The opponent's strength is also increasing at this moment. What a scary guy, it looks like he's about to have a final battle. After a while, a huge monster like a devil appeared in front of Fang Ye. The opponent's huge momentum made Fang Ye a little breathless. Has the crystal arch finally appeared? Then I won't hide it anymore, let's pray to the gods for our success. A black hole is about to come to the world, and the entire world will be plunged into darkness. Another man in black also exploded with his own potential and power. An energy storm, like a black hole, suddenly appeared above his head, and then a dragon and a monster with a general appearance appeared in front of everyone. The man in black floated above the head of the giant dragon and then merged into one. As the man in black entered, the dragon's eyes opened in vain and turned scarlet. It became a violent demon. No, we are no longer our match. They are constantly stimulating the power of the abyss furnace. What should we do now? Lu Leixin frowned slightly. With their current attack methods and intensity, they were unable to cause effective damage to these two behemoths. They couldn't even contain them. No matter what, we have to help Fang Ye share some of the pressure. Everyone, bring out our trump cards. Even if the opponent has the abyss furnace and endless power, we cannot retreat. Fight until the last moment and use up our last drop of blood. The captain said with a serious expression. The eyes of the others also had a hint of determination at this moment. Then their bodies emitted different lights. At this moment, their auras were also rising steadily. 3 rays of light gathered in the sky up. This dark and gloomy space is much brighter at this moment. What a powerful force! Did these 3 people finally come up with their final trump card? It was really amazing. Fang Ye was slightly surprised. Under this power, even he felt frightened. The people of the military department are indeed worthy of their reputation. Even under such circumstances, they did not choose to retreat. They still used their strength to defend themselves. Dignity, using their lives to express their meaning. Plasma Dark Star Cannon. A burst of dark blue energy shot out from above their heads and hit the 2 monsters hard. Boom. The next moment, the world was destroyed, and the 2 monsters were instantly submerged in this huge energy spark. The fission of this energy spark even drowned all the materials around the 2 monsters. Among them, Fang Ye felt a hint of destruction. It seemed that no living thing could survive under this plasma dark star cannon. If the other party uses this move on me, I don't know if I can resist it. I'm afraid it will be quite embarrassing. If you don't have any real skills, it's really not good for you to hang out in the military. Fang Ye sighed. The next moment his eyes also became determined. Now is the best opportunity. At that moment, he quickly approached the abyss furnace. The energy sparks passed by almost in the blink of an eye. Dimensional chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 468. What do you want to do, boy? Come back to me. A huge suction force in the abyss sucked Fang Ye, making him unable to move. After the sparks dissipated, the 2 behemoths were not damaged at all. They just appeared in front of Fang Ye. Looking at this scene, even Fang Ye couldn't help but be slightly shocked. Are you kidding me? The destructive power just now was not a joke, it was real. These 2 big guys were not damaged at all. The defense force has become so tyrannical. Is it to the point? The closer you are, the closer you must be. Come to me quickly. Fang Ye gritted his teeth and rushed forward. Even if the speed was very slow, he would never give up. A dark black crystal emitting black light was right in front. Fan Ye had already felt the surging evil power. But the strong suction force prevented him from moving forward. He wished he hadn't accumulated all the attribute points on speed before. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so passive now. Boy, get over here. Leave that thing alone. The two demon kings roared in anger and rushed towards Fan Ye quickly. At this critical moment, Fan Ye was surprised to feel a force rushing towards him. Then a soft push hit Fan Ye's chest. Behind him, he forcibly helped Fan Ye escape a distance forward. We have done all we can to help, the rest is up to you, Lu Leixin and others said tiredly. At this moment, they were exhausted mentally and physically. They had exhausted all their strength. But their efforts were worth it. The abyss furnace was right in front of them, and Fan Ye quickly took out the crystal holy arch just as Fan Ye imagined. At this moment, the crystal holy arch resonated strongly with the abyss furnace in front of him. The seal of the crystal holy arch also gradually weakened. Wake me up now, and the crystal arch will unleash your power. Fan Ye was immediately washed away, and then he took out the angel's promise given by the previous system from his body. Then he merged this power with the crystal holy arch in front of him. At this time, the world changed dramatically. The energy of these two different attributes of demons and angels resonated strongly. The seal was broken instantly. Seeing this scene, Tyrell below was shocked and shouted at the sky with his last remaining strength. Fan Ye quickly took the crystal sacred arch away. The two crystals could not be fused, otherwise the whole world would be destroyed in the black hole. As the words came out, Fan Ye turned pale with shock, and his whole face turned pale with fright. What's going on? Why hasn't he heard of it? The convergence of these two energies can actually form a black hole. The next moment, the crystal holy arch in Fan Ye's hand, crashing towards the abyss furnace with a terrifying suction force. There was a strong attraction between the two, just like the attraction between opposite sexes, so close. This sudden scene made Fan Ye stunned. For a moment, he didn't understand what was going on. But he quickly reacted and quickly used his body to block the fusion between the two crystal stones. Puff. As a deep voice sounded, Fan Ye felt that his internal organs were going to be torn apart at this moment. Fortunately, he had been training every day during this period, and his strength had become so strong that it could not be represented by data. Coupled with frequent fighting, Fan Ye's comprehensive strength and power improved very quickly. Only then could he withstand the fusion between the two crystals. But as the current situation continues, sooner or later the two crystals will merge together. Fan Ye can't last long. Haha, I thought what you wanted to do, it turned out to be to help us fuse crystals. You told me earlier and let us help you. Get out of here. Looking at this scene, the two giant demon beasts couldn't help but be extremely happy. It was really hard to find a place through the iron shoes, and it took no effort to get there. Their fists hit Fan Ye's body hard, trying to knock Fan Ye away. The huge iron fist hit Fan Ye's body, causing Fan Ye to scream in pain from time to time. But he still gritted his teeth and persisted. He used his tough body to block the fusion of the two crystals. Looking at this after a tragic scene, Lu Leixin and others couldn't help but frown. If they only respected Fan Ye on the surface before, now they respected from the bottom of their hearts. This genius from the academy, regardless of his own life and death, resolutely used his weak the human body resists the black hole. At this moment, he is as great as a god. Good boy, your bones are quite hard. I want to see how hard you can be. Another huge iron fist hit Fan Ye's face, causing Fan Ye's whole head to deform. Crystal Arch, please give me power. Fan Ye trembled and roared at the crystal holy arch. The next moment a strange phenomenon happened. The crystal holy arch suddenly burst out with a white light, and this white light enveloped Fan Ye. At this moment, the abyss furnace is here under the surging momentum, it was actually a bit weaker. Fan Ye had quick eyesight and quick hands. He quickly used the magic energy in his body to seal the abyss furnace. What? How is this possible? How can you get the approval of the crystal arch? Looking at this scene, the two demon kings were shocked. They continued to beat Fang Ye's body. At this moment, Fang Ye was enveloped in white light and disappeared together with the abyss furnace. Boom! The terrifying angelic energy filled the air from the white light, directly knocking away the two demon kings. Everyone gathered to look, only to see that the white light gradually dissipated, and an ordinary bald head appeared in front of everyone. He succeeded. He really succeeded. He is such an incredible person. Our world can be saved. Tyrell was so excited that he vomited out another mouthful of blood, and the wound worsened sharply. At this moment, his breath was also weakening at a speed visible to the naked eye. Young people, the rest of the world will be left to you. You must take good care of the future and not let the devil come back. Tyrell gradually closed his eyes weakly. Everyone understood that once his eyes were closed, he could never open them again. At this moment, a white light enveloped Tyrell. Fang Ye took action. Now that I have gained the power of an angel, none of you will die. Fang Ye smiled faintly, looking at the two big demons in front of him with a calm yet sacred gaze. Impossible, it's impossible. I'm going to kill you. You ruined our plan. At this moment, these two guardians from the gods' agents have gone crazy. Victory is clearly in front of them. Just because of this young boy, their plan was ruined. No one can accept such a heavy result. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mung Garden. Chapter 469. Since ancient times, evil has never prevailed over good. This is true no matter where you are. You should understand that you will end up like this. Fang Ye smiled coldly. Now these two demons have become lambs to be slaughtered, and the abyss furnace has been preserved and sealed by Fang Ye. There is no source of demonic power. They are no longer Fang Ye's opponents. I'm not willing to give in. I'm not willing to give in. I want to see what you can do even if you have the power of the crystal arch. Possessed by the devil. The two huge demon kings were forcibly fused together in the form of energy under the incredible gaze of everyone. Then a more ferocious demon appeared in front of everyone. Compared to the huge monster just now, the size of the demon in front of them, it's about the same size as a human being. But the feeling of oppression is real. This is the legendary Ghost King Aedes. Looking at this scene, Fang Ye raised his eyebrows slightly. There was a hint of surprise in his eyes. In the setting of Diablo, there is a legendary character. This character does not belong to the devil or the angel. The setting is like the human world, not among the five elements, but within the Tao. And this character is Aedes. Aedes' strength is also quite special, similar to the angel King Tyrell, the hell demon god Diavolo, etc. compared with others. In terms of combat effectiveness, he is not outstanding, and is even inferior by several levels. But he has a special function. That is the copying ability. This copying ability allows the opponent to copy the crystal holy arch, and abyss furnace. This copying ability can be said to be extremely abnormal in the world of Diablo, which is why it only appears in legends. Except for the fact that these two crystals cannot produce black holes, they are basically the same as those of angels and demons. They all have power. Of course, the power is naturally greatly weakened. However, the other party can naturally merge into one, and Aedes has already surprised Fang Ye. Under the incredulous eyes of everyone, Aedes' two hands appeared separately. The replica of the crystal arch and the abyss furnace. Watching this scene made Wu Xian and others tremble with fear. They didn't know the story and some plots of this world, so they were confused about the people in it. But from the previous crystal arch and in the abyss furnace, they could also feel the power of these two crystals. Therefore, they were extremely surprised when the other party was able to show two replica versions of the crystals. It turned out to be a das. How could he be resurrected? Tyrell frowned slightly. Wasn't this guy sealed by him in the first place? At the beginning, Aidas wanted to join forces with the demon god of hell. In the end, he saw through the conspiracy, and then sealed a das in anger. This is the special thing about the agents of gods. They should have some ability to combine to create a new Adas. Since Adas has the ability to copy Adas, then the holy agent naturally also has the ability to copy Adas. Don't forget that before Fangye comes. The 10th is under their rule. The other party has this ability is not surprising. So what if you master the crystal arch? You are not an angel after all. Impossible to drive perfectly, the power inside. Go to hell. Transformed into a das, the opponent compressed his huge body into a human size. Fangye frowned. Although his strength has been greatly improved now, with the help of the crystal holy arch, a steady stream of angels' power, the opponent still made him feel the pressure. The next moment, the opponent hit him with a fierce punch. The opponent was extremely fast, even several levels faster than Fangye at this moment. Fangye didn't have time to react at all. The opponent was already here reaching behind him. An ordinary blow suddenly hit Fangye. Fangye flew backwards on the spot and hit the mountain wall in the distance heavily. Let you see the absolute power gap between us. Darkness covered Fangye's body like a ghost. Fangye had to bear dozens of punches every second. At this moment, Fangye's body continued to deform. The pain continued to amplify in his body. So what if you have the crystal arch? You will definitely die today. The powerful attack power made it difficult for Fangye to resist immediately. Such a powerful force, what kind of creature can Fangye be able to withstand this? Lu Leixin couldn't help but frown slightly. She originally thought that with Fangye opening the crystal holy arch, the situation would get better. These two protectors are well deserved, and under such circumstances, their momentum is not inferior to Fangye's. In the end, the important thing is that they still have a chance to come back. The two sides continued to fight for dozens of rounds. Fangye retreated while fighting, always in a passive state. The opponent's attack power and speed were obviously much stronger than Fangye's, and even his flexibility was very high. The situation was once in crisis. With the power of the replica of the abyss furnace and the crystal arch, the opponent absorbed the power of demons and angels and cleverly integrated them together. This is the unique mechanism of Adas. Admit defeat, you are no match for us, not even Tyrell at his peak. The 10th penalty area is always ours. The two guardians showed cruel smiles. But what they didn't know was that their eyes were gradually turning red at this moment. This was the point where they were about to lose control. At the same time, this was also a curse from Adas. Ada has the ability to copy. There is a special mechanism hidden in his body. Others can copy his abilities and other skills, but they must not copy his complete version. Otherwise, he will fall into a violent state. There is basically no antidote to this violent state. Solution: once out of control, it will turn into a real demon and a killing machine, and even possess a trace of Adas's soul. Maybe it will really be controlled by Adas and let the other party be reborn. And the other party did not say wrong, his fighting power is now. Tyrell at his peak will not be his opponent. The power of the replica crystal arch and the abyss furnace is huge. The scene at this moment seems to have set the outcome. The violent bombardment in Edas under the explosive attack. Fangye had no chance to defend. Boom. Another punch sent Fangye flying several hundred meters away, knocking down several mountains in a row. Aidas showed a victorious smile. We win, after all, we win. Fangye, you can't beat us. But why do I feel a little out of control of my body? At this moment, Adas's body changed. A strange soul flew from a distance. This black soul entered Adas's body without any explanation. No, Fang Ye quickly stops him. Dimensional chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mung Garden. Chapter 470. This is the soul of Aidas. Watching this scene, Tyrell, who was seriously injured and fell to the ground, was shocked. He could feel that this was a trace of Adas's soul. Although Adas was sealed, his soul could wander outside. Especially these two, the name protector has activated Adas's body. Although it is a copy, it is also connected to the body. Once the other party's soul enters the copy of Adas, the consequences will be disastrous. Listen to this, Fang Ye hurriedly wanted to step forward. He could only watch the scene helplessly. What a perfect replica. Thank you for helping me rebuild my body. A terrible sound echoed in the space. Aidas's body made a terrible sound. Then the two guardians struggled wildly. Who are you? Get out of our bodies quickly. Damn things, do you know who we are? GG, I don't care who you are, this body is mine, you use my body and you have the nerve to claim that I occupy you. But I still want to thank you for your help. Aidas's voice came from within the body. The two guardians only struggled for a moment and then stopped moving. Looking at this scene, Tyrell's mood suddenly dropped. Is it still not possible? The two guardians, there is a high probability that his soul will be devoured. I didn't expect that the fight would last so long. Now it will end like this. Tyrell's eyes were full of reluctance, but there was nothing he could do about it. It's such a familiar feeling, haha. I didn't expect that one day I would be resurrected too. Old man, you didn't expect that we would meet in such a scene now. The so-called enemy was extremely jealous when they met. Aidas immediately locked his eyes on Tyrell below. The hatred in his eyes was self-evident. It was almost reflected on his face. He wanted to cut the opponent into pieces with 1,000 knives. So what? Since I can seal you, I can seal you the second time. Tyrell struggled to stand up. He looked at the other party with firm eyes without any fear. Yeah? How can you compete with me now? I will send you to hell today, old man. Adas leaned down and rushed out. Come on, I won't be afraid of you. Tyrell stared at the opponent. Just when Aidas was about to punch Tyrell in the face, a white light flashed with powerful energy next to him, and Aidas was knocked away several hundred times. Meters away. The visual effects of the scene are shocking. A crisp voice slowly came out. I said you don't take me seriously. With a punch, Fang Ye's muscles were highlighted. The upper lines were clear and full of strength. Fang Ye looked at the opponent expressionlessly. Feeling the power of this punch, even Aidas couldn't help but be stunned. For a moment, he never thought that he would be attacked. Who are you, boy? How dare you be bad? Do you know my good deeds? Aidas looked at Fang Ye unhappily. Haha, I don't care who you are, does it have anything to do with me? Leave this body to me wherever you come from. Fang Ye sneered in a concise tone. The atmosphere between the two parties was in vain. Hearing what the other party said, Adas laughed in anger. Haha, no one has said this to me for a long time, you are looking for death. The next moment, his eyes turned cold, and he rushed towards Fang Ye. The attack that destroyed the world was like a violent storm. He suddenly hit the opponent's body. The intensity of this force was compared to before. It was better than before. Every attack brought forth bursts of sparks. Looking at this scene, even Lu Leixin and others on the side couldn't help but feel a little frightened. If they were to withstand such an attack, they would fall down without making a single move. Fang Ye's the ability to withstand is so strong. You must know that this guy has just experienced a painful blow. After a series of attacks, Fang Ye was knocked down again. Aidas did not give up so quickly. He bullied himself and continued to hit him crazily with his fists. Next. Soon Fang Ye disappeared into the haze. After a long time, Aidas stopped attacking out of breath. Then he stood up and looked at Tyrell again. The minions have been dealt with, now it's your turn. Are you ready to die? Old stuff. Just when the other party moved his steps, he was suddenly patted by someone else. At this moment, everyone was surprised to find that Fang Ye was still standing tall and tall in front of the other party. Hey, I said that's all you have. Aidas turned around in surprise. Seeing this guy, he couldn't help but take a few steps back in fright. What, how is this possible? Aidas felt as if he had seen a ghost. Only he knew how strong the power he had just exerted was. How could this guy be able to resist it? This is unreasonable. Now that you're done fighting, it's time to come to me. Fang Ye remained expressionless. He punched the opponent in the face with an ordinary punch. It was precisely because of this punch that Aida's body flew out again. It was like a sugar-coated cannonball. Feel it? Seeing this sacred angel power, Aidas was extremely surprised in his heart. His crystal holy arch was a copy after all. But the other party's was the real thing. The difference between the two sides in real power was not 1 or 2 orders of magnitude. If the Crystal Palace and the Abyss can easily restore 100% of the power, and it is impossible for him to be sealed by Tyrell in the first place. The copying ability gives him the characteristics he should have, but the disadvantage is that all the powers are greatly reduced. How is this possible? You can actually use the power of the Crystal Arch so perfectly. Aidas was shocked. There are many things that you think are impossible, don't worry, this is just one of them. Several punches in a row. Fang Ye beat the opponent until his nose was bruised and his face was swollen. Under this mediocre attack, every punch of Fang Ye carried the ultimate sense of power. He quickly beat the opponent until he was dying. Bastard boy, you are so annoying. If that's the case, then let's all die together, haha. Aidas's eyes revealed a hint of madness. The next thing he saw, his size quickly grew larger. A surging power condensed in his body. No, he must be stopped. He wants to expose himself. Once he explodes successfully, everything within 100 miles will be wiped out. Hearing this, Fang Ye was shocked. He had already felt a trace of destructive power. This destructive power came from the replica of the Crystal Holy Arch and the Abyss Furnace. Under normal circumstances, 2 crystals would form a black hole. The copied version will cause a strong repulsive effect. When their powers are fused together, a chemical reaction will occur. Although the power of Aidas is not good, it does have many methods. Aidas, stop it! Fang Ye rushed forward fiercely.